I'll first start with Bibi Shah. Have you given Mental Health Foundation any amount of assistance or subsidy to deal with the extra amount of people they have to deal with? I answered at the time that yes, we have allocated 1.3 million guilders to be transferred to Mental Health Foundation. I can now give an update pertaining to that transfer. It has been completed as of June 20th, 2025. The intention of this additional injection is for operational costs and to support structural improvement. A question that was also left to provide feedback on, a response on, was a question posed by Mr. Lee. Can you update us on current debts of APS and SZV? Is there a formal loan agreement in respect to payment with interest? The current estimated debt to SZV is $69,092,000 for OZR, and this includes PP cards and civil servants, and an additional $49,598,000 for division of assets, service provided on behalf of government, and premium per legislation. There is absolutely no interest charged by SZV on the outstanding debts, and therefore no formal loan agreement is necessary. With regard to the updates with regard to the current estimated outstanding of APS, it is at this moment $11,133,000. However, since receiving this figure from the Ministry of Finance, I have been informed that APS and the Ministry of Finance have made an agreement on how to lower this amount. And considering that this particular topic falls under the Ministry of Finance, I would like to invite, if there's any additional question, I would encourage those questions to be sent to the Ministry of Finance for answering. Following question regarding children inhaling household products and other dangerous substances. What have you done as Minister of Health to address this issue? This matter was actually brought to my attention during the press briefing. So I thank you very much, Ms. Bibi Shah. Immediately after the press briefing, my cabinet reached out to Ms. Maku at the Turning Point. And that conversation, I was informed of exactly what was going on. At the end of the conversation, we have decided that in collaboration with the Ministry of Justice, in the Ministry of Education, VSA, and in collaboration with Turning Point Foundation, we are going to launch an awareness campaign. However, allow me to take this opportunity to ask parents to please have a discussion with your children on matters such as this, sex, and use of drugs. It is something that has to happen not today, but it should have happened yesterday. It's only together we can actually fight the battle to ensure that our children are protected. There was also a question pertaining to the update on the sexual harassment case. This matter from the onset was indicated that it was actually a general affairs matter. And of course, the parties involved are in the VSA. At the time I answered in the press briefing that I understood that it was in the finalization stage. However, I did not receive any report at that particular time. However, this morning, I was informed that, I believe yesterday, that the final report was sent to the acting SG of VSA, and I'm not sure if the General Affairs was also included, but once I'm finished with this press briefing during the course of the week, I will take contact with the acting SG and also with the General Affairs, the Minister of General Affairs, in order to see how we have to move forward. I believe that the relevant department also has to reach out to both parties in order to indicate what is the findings. So other than that, I have nothing else to report on the sexual harassment case.
Like a good morning.
Thank you, Minister Bruch, for your opening remarks. As mentioned by the minister, he would like to receive his questions in writing, which we will allow him to do so.
I'd
I
like
would
to have a
now
follow-up
to
on one of
invite
the answers he provided 2 months or more after posing the questions.
Bibi, as the minister indicated, he has a prior event he needs to attend, and he would like all questions provided in writing. Thank you.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurances.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
So last week marked the official launch of the Agri-Business Academy, a key milestone in our ministry's commitment to economic diversification, sustainability, and food security. Developed in collaboration with Credits and TWO, or TWO, this 15-week program is designed to empower farmers, agriculturists, fishermen, and landowners to operate with an entrepreneurial mindset. It combines practical agricultural training with essential business tools, helping participants strengthen their areas such as supply chain management, marketing, and product packaging. At the end of the program, eligible participants can apply for an agri-loan with a highly favorable interest rate of 2% and access up to $50,000 in financing to grow their business. It is important to note that completion of this training is required for the loan eligibility. This program is about is more than just about funding. It's about building a resilient agriculture sector, opening doors for new income generation, and empowering our people to feed our nation. The first cohort welcome under are over 20 participants, including established businesses, new startups, and landowners eager to explore the sector, and fishermen. The next session is scheduled to begin in October of this year, and I'm pleased to announce that registration is now open for those interested in joining. I would like to take this opportunity to extend a heartfelt congratulations again to the Department of ETT, especially Mr. Shervin Frederick and Mrs. Avril Isaac, who led this initiative under Country Package E6. A special thanks goes out to Ms. Bernice Stoffer from RVO and Miss Leona Romeo from Teweo for their steadfast collaboration and support. This would not have been possible without their dedication, and this is just the beginning. Together, we are cultivating a more secure and sustainable future for St. Martin. Next, I'd like to provide an update on the Department of Economic Licenses, one of my R4 projects. Today, I want to speak directly to our public and business community regarding the ongoing transformation at the Department of Economic Licenses. As previously communicated, the service desk at the Public Service Center was temporarily closed as of the 1st of July for a period of 4 to 6 weeks. This was not a decision made lightly, but a necessary step to improve our service delivery. Rest assured, new license application continue to be accepted during this period. Our team has already begun contacting individuals with scheduled appointments to guide them through the new online submission process. The submission link will now be available on government's website later today. Additionally, for those needing support, we encourage you to visit the SEDC St. Martin at the Miss Lally Center or call for an appointment. Their assistance with submissions is free of charge. Their phone number there is 542-8898. That's 542-8898. And you can also contact them via social media, Facebook or Instagram, and search up SEDC St. Martin. We also encourage those looking to start or restructure their business to consult SEDC. They offer affordable training programs in marketing, business administration, tax filing, and more, starting at just $50 the fee. So the aim of the temporary closure allows us to clear the backlog of pending requests, improve internal workflow, and redesign how the public interacts with the department. Some of the improvements underway include a new digital document submission platform for faster remote processing, phasing out the current ineffective submission process and making it less bureaucratic, and a walk-in system will replace appointment-only services with the desk when the desk reopens. So a dedicated internal team is right now overseeing this transition, ensuring minimal disruption and long-term improvement. We recognize that MSMEs are the backbones of our economy, and delays and poor communication hinder your growth. So these changes are necessary and represent a true investment in better service. Finally, we invite the public to visit the department's tent at the upcoming Go Local event this coming July 24th to the 27th on the Phillipsburg Boardwalk. Come and meet the team, get updates, and share your feedback, an effort done in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce. In closing, I thank the department staff for their dedication under pressure and the public for your continued patience. This is not just a patch, it's a strategic step forward in building a system that is faster, fairer, and more responsive. Next, I'd like to give an update on the Phillipsburg Marketplace. Now, I'm pleased to report that the preparations for the resumption of the construction has begun. We're currently reviewing the final architectural drawings with our partners at the Royal Caribbean Group and with the Ministry of RAMI. These technical discussions are crucial to align the project's design with our infrastructure and operational goals. Additionally, discussions between the cabinets of TIAT and Finance are ongoing regarding potential relief measures for the vendors if and where possible. So while this is all the information we can share at this time, please rest assured that the marketplace remains a priority for this ministry, and we will provide further updates as milestones are achieved.
SZV, your social and health insurance is SZV, your social and health insurance is.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to szv.sx and sign up now.
SZV, yeah, your social and health insurance is.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
This evening we are going to talk tropical cyclones, or what you know as hurricanes. Tropical cyclone is a broad name, but hurricane comes under it. As we go along, you will see what I mean. Okay, here is the outline. What we are going to talk about tonight. The conditions for the development of tropical cyclones and hurricanes, the Atlantic hurricane season, stages of development, the structure of a hurricane, how a hurricane is built, the impacts, why do we track hurricanes, and then we have an exercise where you are going to track a hurricane, the tools that we use, the things we should be aware of, and the different symbols. Okay? Anybody attended this session before? A few? Okay. I'll try to be, meteorology, met and weather has a lot of difficult words and terms. I am going to try to break down everything and to be very basic if I can. If you don't understand something, just write down the question and we'll talk about it at the end. Okay, what is a tropical cyclone? A tropical cyclone is a rotating, organized system of clouds and thunderstorms. So you must have a little thunderstorm. Like last week when you heard the thunder going out there, you must have a little thunderstorm for a cyclone to develop out of it. And it originates in the tropics. Now, when we look at the globe, there is an area on the globe that's called the tropics, and that is the only place that you'll find hurricanes and storms forming. And the tropics is identified by this red band across the globe. It falls between 23 degrees north and 23 degrees south latitude, or what you call the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. So this area, it doesn't mean that a hurricane cannot reach anywhere above that, but it begins here and it can move elsewhere. Okay? Now, these different parts of the world call hurricanes differently. So in places like Japan and China, they don't say hurricanes, they say typhoons, but it's the same thing. In the Indian Ocean, West Africa, they would say cyclones, but they mean the same thing. And in our area, we call them hurricanes. So when you hear hurricanes and typhoons, it's the same thing. It's a hurricane, but they call it differently. Now, what they need in order to grow, the ingredients that's needed for a hurricane or a storm to form. First thing, you must have warm sea temperatures, about 26.5, 27 degrees. That's the right temperature for them. And also, the temperature don't only exist at the surface, it has to be at a certain depth, about 150 meters down has to be warm up to the surface. So once they get that, that's the fuel they need to develop. You must have light winds. If the winds are very strong, it tends to disrupt the thunderstorm clouds. So the winds have to be a little light in order to grow. And then the pre-existing disturbance we have here, that's the little thunderstorm I was talking about earlier. A tropical wave, a little rain, something there. Then you have the light winds, and once it has the warm sea surface temperatures, that's all it's need to make the mixture to bake into a hurricane or a storm. So the three ingredients, remember that? There are others, but these are the main ones. Light winds, sea surface temperatures from 26.5 degrees and above, and the pre-existing disturbance or a thunderstorm area. Now, we know our hurricane season begins June 1st and ends November 30th. This is just the time of year that they form more frequently, but hurricanes and storms can form any time of the year. In history, a hurricane or a storm has formed every single month of the year, January, February, March, all of these. But June 1st to November just means the time that we have more frequent activity happening. And even within that, there's still a small section where you find even more activity happening. That's what we call the peak of the hurricane season, between August and October. Nowadays, in recent times, because of all the variability with climate and climate change, we see some little shifts where August doesn't have too much activity and it's more September. So you will see that kind of shift happening these days. But based on 100 years of data, it's the peak of the season comes just about August to October. And the map I have down here says the time of year that we find and where do you find the activity happening most. So at the beginning of the season, June, you would find the activity happening more in the Gulf of Mexico, not close to us yet. In the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of America, whatever you call it.
How's it never going to change?
When it moves to August, you see the orange growing a little closer to the islands in our area. You find development most frequently happens. And when later down in the season, it can happen anywhere. Okay? So this is a graph showing 100 years of data and where we find most of it happening. It just points to the peak. Just about the 10th of September is the peak of the hurricane season. And as I said, this has been shifting with various changes in atmosphere and climate. Stages of development. The first thing that happens is a tropical wave, the area of disturbance, where you have thunderstorms, a little gusty winds, and we have winds less than 23 miles an hour. and some rainfall, just a tropical wave, a little something passing. You hear the rumbling of the thunder. Now, if the sea surface temperatures remain above 26.5, as we previously said, or very warm, and everything is right for development, it continues to grow. It intensifies and it becomes a depression. Tropical depression is the second stage. There, the winds have now increased from 23 to about 38 miles an hour. You'll have more rain and more thunderstorms happening. And what happens at that stage, it gets a number, okay? So you'll hear tropical depression 1, tropical depression 5. It has numbers, not names. Once it's a depression, no name is given, it's just numbers. Then conditions remain right, warm sea surface temperatures, light winds. Whilst it moves, it intensifies, it now becomes a tropical storm. The third stage is the tropical storm. Winds now 39 to 73 miles an hour. Rain becomes heavier. And what happens there? No more numbers. It gets a name. Okay? So when it becomes a storm, it gets to 39 miles an hour or up to 73, it gets a name. Have you ever wondered how they get the name? Okay, there are people, representatives of different countries and Met services who meet every year after the hurricane season, about March, April, where they call the Hurricane Committee. And they sit, and once a hurricane has caused a lot of destruction, the name is they said that it is retired. So they remove the name from the list. Why that is so? It's because we do not want any confusion. For example, we had Irma in 2017. If Irma were to remain on the list, another year comes around, and you have another bad, you say, but which Irma? When you're talking about it to your children, you say, which Irma? The Irma that happened in 2017 or the Irma that happened in 2024? Which Irma? So to remove the confusion, that's why the names are removed, and it is replaced with a name with the same letter, beginning with the same letter. And you would notice the names are one male, one female, one male, one female. And the names are also, some are Spanish, some are French, some are English, because all these people sit at the table, and like today, we are all here, and we want to remove a name from the list. It would just go by a vote. So everybody would say a name, what they think they want to be on the list, and it would go by vote, so the name that wins would be replaced.